Hey, hi, this is Skip Orth with Father and Son Pest and Lawn Solutions. And today what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about how to set watering start times on a digital timer. This is confusing for a lot of people because on a digital timer there can be 3, 4, 5, 6 different start time options, and a lot of people don't know how to use those. And if they use them incorrectly, the sprinkler system can run for hours on end if those start times are put in incorrectly. A lot of times I'll come to a customer and they'll tell me, hey, my sprinkler system comes on at 2 in the morning and it doesn't shut off until 4 in the afternoon. And more times than not, if I check that irrigation timer, what I'll find is that there's multiple start times programmed into that timer, and by taking off all but one of the start times, then that solves that problem. Now, why would you want multiple start times on a timer, and what are they there for? Well, what they do is every start time that you program into the timer resets the timer to run through all of the zones each time. So if you have a start time at 2 a.m., then the timer will start at 2 a.m. and it'll run through all of their zones that are programmed to run. Then if you have another start time to run at, say, 2 p.m., then the timer will come on again at 2 p.m. and run through all of the zones. So there's not really very many circumstances where you would need more than one start time. Actually, it's not a good practice to water your lawn more than once a day, because the more water you put on your lawn, the longer it stays wet, the more opportunity there is for disease to develop in that lawn, and you don't want that to occur. However, let's say you installed new sod and it's the middle of the summer and it's 95 degrees out, clear, low humidity days. Under those circumstances, you have brand new sod and you want to water it at least twice a day until it gets established. Once it gets established, then you want to reduce those start times to just one per day. So usually it's because, at least in this area along the Emerald Coast, it's used for new sod installations. Now, other parts of the country, maybe where the soil is very dense and there's a lot of clay and it takes a long time for the water to soak into the soil, sometimes under those circumstances, it would be best to run the irrigation system multiple times during the day for short periods, so that the ground doesn't have a lot of water to soak up all at once. Otherwise, you end up wasting the water, and the water runs off instead of soaking into the ground. So maybe in certain areas where the soil is very dense, you might want to run the irrigation system 3 or 4 times a day, just a little bit at a time, to get enough hydration into the soil for the grass. So those are the reasons that you would want to have multiple start times. And what we're going to do right now is look at this timer and talk about how to program those start times. The way we set watering start times on a digital timer, we turn the dial to where it says watering start times. So we'll turn it over there, and you'll notice when we turn it on there, on that readout on the LED screen, it'll say first. So that's the time to set for the first start time. We can use the up or down arrows and change the time. Right now it's set at 1:45 a.m., but if we want to change that, we can change it by going down, and it'll go up or down in 15-minute increments like that. So if we wanted to set another start time, we would go to the advance button and we would push it, and it would go to the second. And then if we wanted even more, there's a third and a fourth watering start time. And then after that, it goes back to the first. So let's say we had a watering start time on the second zone of 10:45, and we wanted to turn it off. Now, one of the things that's unique or maybe even a little tricky about this, about turning the start time off, is that the off position is right before midnight. So if you'll see here, the second start time I have set for 10:45. If I push it to 11:15 p.m., 11:30 p.m., 11:45 p.m., and off. So the off position is right before midnight. So if I push the down arrow, or if I push the other arrow, and it goes to like just after midnight, 12:15, it keeps going down. And then if I want to turn it back off, I go right before midnight and it turns off. So to advance the start times time-wise, up or down, use the up or down arrows. If you want to turn it off, use the arrows to go right before midnight, and that'll turn it off. If you want to set multiple start times, push the manual start advance button, and it'll go to the first, second, third, and fourth start times.